brilliant one day, blown away the next. No trouble for India and Taruba as they wrap up the series decider against West Indies. A 200-run win set up by a big batting display that saw them score 351, their highest ODI total against West Indies in West Indies. And then the West Indies batters just didn't turn up. That means India continue their run of not having lost an ODI series to West Indies since 2006. Wasim Jaffer joins us on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day to wrap things up for this series. You saw the fight from West Indies, but this was just one-way traffic from the start, set up by the batters who, given the two disappointing outings India had, would heave a collective sigh of relief.
Yeah, I think obviously getting 350 was obviously the positive. But if I can be a little bit critical, not somebody getting the 100. Shubman was playing really well. Ishan Kishan, I thought, missed an opportunity to get 120, 150. Even Sanju Samson, when he got out, it was 17, 18 overs left. So, like I said in the preview also, the batters need to score 120 or 100 plus scores. So against the good teams, that becomes the winning thing. So that's the only thing. Otherwise, getting 350 was obviously going to be hard for the West Indies to chase.
To that point, I'll just add the stat nugget that this is India's highest ODI total without an individual 100, just bettering the previous mark, which is 350 that they'd scored against Sri Lanka back in 2006. Now, let's unpack each of those batters, not just from this game, but from a series perspective. And where better to begin than Ishan Kishan? Consistency through the series, not just in his runs, but also in his approach. You look back at this series as one where he's perhaps cemented himself as India's first choice backup opener.
I think so. I think getting 350s in 3 games, obviously you will say he's the third opener in line, and obviously the second wicket keeper also going forward. So he did his chances no harm, but he needs to learn to convert those starts into big hundreds. That's what the Indian batters need to learn. Learn from Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli to turn that into 120s or even more. Because he had that opportunity. So going forward, that's what he need to learn.
Yeah, his runs would have maybe put a little amount of pressure on Shubman Gill, who had quiet returns throughout this tour, even in the tests before the ODIs. It would have been relieving for him to finally get a big score behind him.
Yeah, he looked composed. He looked set to get a big 100. Got out. He just slowed down a little bit when Hardik came in. There was a passage of play where India got only 11 runs in the 5 overs. And then Moti bowled really well to him. So otherwise, he would have, got that 100 and probably got even more. So he was probably the more assured out of the three or the four guys who got 50. So good to see him get into runs.
Let's talk one final time about two men we've spoken in the same breath throughout this series. Sanju Samson, Surya Kumar Yadav, both auditioning for those leftover middle order spots, and both finally got some runs. But on the basis of what you've seen, where do you see both of them standing in India's pecking order looking ahead to the World Cup?
It's difficult to say. I mean, Sanju played well, but he plays a very high risk game. I mean, even if you look at his innings, he came out and hit those couple of sixes. It connected and it went to six, obviously, but he could have got out, if had missed time. That's been the case with Sanju Samson. He plays a very high risk game. So somebody to bat at number 4 and to play like that, I have my doubts. Surya Kumar Yadav, obviously didn't get going. I thought he had the platform set. Uh, he did no harm, even though he got 35 or something. I thought he played well, but lot to work for him on in this format.
Interested to ask on what you said about Samson. If you look at this ODI World Cup cycle, there was a time, early 2021, I think, when it looked like India were trying to put Rishabh Pant in as that number 4. There were knocks of note he played in those home ODIs against England. Of course, that century for the ages in England last year. Now India lost him, but it looked like India were going down a route where they wanted that middle over disruptor, someone who just plays that high risk game, which when it comes away, when it comes off, just changes the game in the middle overs. Is that where Samson might still have some sort of a bearing in these last few months before the World Cup?
I mean, that's fine. I mean, if the team management gives him that license, that's fine. But consistency is also an issue. So you want to be destructive, but you don't want to score uh, 2 or 3 innings out of six or maybe seven. So that's my concern. Even in the IPL, we have seen, there are some good innings and there are some really lean matches. So that's been the case. So he need to learn, against the leg spin, especially today he came out with a positive approach. Obviously, he looked like he made up his mind that he's going to attack. Worked for him, but that's where he need to learn. I mean, somebody batting at number four, I have my concerns because those guys actually set up the game. So if you are three down or four down for not many and a lot of overs to go, then for the guys coming in, it's a lot of hard work or a lot of repair they need to do.
Right. The middle overs grabs a lot of our attention, but the importance of destructive batting at the death can never be understated in ODI cricket. And on that note, was it refreshing to see the Hardik Pandya we've been more accustomed to seeing over the years, as he just teed off in the end, 34 of 12 in the last 3 overs of the innings from him?
Yeah, I mean, he took his time early on, and he needed to because he didn't had a good score in last couple of games, so understandable. But he batted through the innings, so which was very good, and we all know once he gets going, he bats, right till the end. What he can do when a clean striking, absolutely brilliant. So good for Indian cricket that Hardik has slowly and steadily coming into his own.
But is this bit of Hardik, that ability to just destroy in the last 5, 10 overs, arguably the more important of his batting skill set for India when they look ahead to their ODI World Cup plans?
I think so. I think he's going to bat at number six. I don't see him bat anywhere up since we know that KL and Shreyash are going to come in. So probably number six is his place. And and if he's batting in the death, we all know what he can do. So yeah, I mean it's very important. His death batting, uh, is coming good.
On the bowling front, it was West Indies were quite blown away. It took a 55-run partnership for the ninth wicket to offer some respectability to the total. Uh, there were wickets for Kuldeep Yadav, Shardul Thakur, both of whom have had prolific series. But let's talk a bit about Mukesh Kumar, who made those early inroads, set West Indies back right at the start. 3 wickets for him in that opening burst. What does that new ball burst and this first series of his overall tell us about Mukesh's white ball credentials?
Very positive. I mean, he's got that wicket-taking ability, and he bowls that good length. He swings the ball. He comes, he uses that crease. So a lot of positive. He needs to obviously uh, up the speed probably a yard or two. Then he'll become even more dangerous. But a lot of positive. Something the Indian selectors can invest in. I mean, he's going to play the T20s, so we'll obviously find out. But a lot of positives going forward for Mukesh Kumar. I was really happy to see him bowl the way he did.
Right, let's spend a minute on West Indies. Two batting blowouts sandwiched by one spirit lifter of a win. How would you rate their series, and what are the biggest positives for them to take from this?
Well, obviously, that first ODI and then third ODI has been disappointing. But in the second ODI, they did turn up. Obviously, the pitch played its part. The Indian batting obviously played its part. But it has been a little disappointing. They were too dependent on Shehok, who batted really well in those two games. But other than that, not so much contribution from the other guys, if I can say so. I mean, in the bowling, I thought Moti bowled really well. He looked a decent prospect. Even the leg spinner, I thought was pretty good. But other than that, a lot of hard work for them to go forward.
Let's have the final word on India then. This is the first of 3 remaining series in the build up to the World Cup. What for you have India learned as they hope to firm up their plans?
I think Ishan Kishan has probably the positive. I don't know what they have learned because they played do not cut. They could have easily played Akshar Patel. Like I said, keep saying it. He can be the guy. playing in that World Cup. Ruturaj Gaikwad played. He's going to play only one game, and obviously he's not going to be part of it. But it's understandable. But Ishan Kishan and Mukesh Kumar, probably those are the positives going forward for me in this series.
All right, that just about does it. ODI cricket has taken a lot of our focus, but we will pivot to T20s soon because it's a five-match T20I series which gets underway on Thursday. Be sure to join us back on ESPN Cricinfo. Not match day, T20 timeout, 7:30 p.m. IST, just after the toss on Thursday. Wasim Jaffer will be live with us, and we look forward to your company through the T20s. Thank you so much for your time and thoughts, Wasim.